Good morning, everybody. It has been, I think the hottest of minutes, like almost an entire month. But we're getting. I don't even know. I'm just making noises with my mouth, mostly P's and B's and F's. But yeah, we're gonna get started here pretty soon. I am awake, which is kind of a miracle in itself. Um, hmm, how do I want to do this? Ooh, hold on. I gotta do some chair adjustments. I got a pretty new office chair. I don't remember when the last time I streamed, if I've talked about it or not, but it's very nice. Okay, alright. When did I get my office? I might have gotten it a month ago. Okay, anyway. But the sides fold down, so I can like kind of turn it into. It's like a reverse futon. Instead of the back folding down, it's like the arms fold down. Anyway, so it's honestly pretty awesome. Um, I got my drinks, I took my pills, I ate my breakfast, I got some incense going, so the house smells pretty. The house is still a mess, but it is technically a cleaner mess than when I last saw you guys, so there's that. Um, Okity dokity. I'm gonna get over to the art page. Transition. I think that's the first time ever that I didn't struggle with that. Thank you, OBS. I need my glove. Eagle-eyed viewers will notice that I did absolutely nothing as far as art goes since the last time I streamed. It's fine. Everything's cool. It's not, but like it's fine. I'm doing that, middle-aged woman, it's fine thing. Um, oh my god, I have to remember like. Okay, that's the sketch layer. Okay. Oh, thank God I actually named it ink. Okay, fantastic. All right, what is going on with these little lines? I'm just gonna do some cleanup until I feel, I don't know, like I'm ready to do inking. I did do a little bit of drawing already, Sarah. I did a little bit of coloring already. Oh, Jackie Beth, good morning. Love the castle. Thank you. I'm kind of like constantly redesigning this castle. I think it's one of these days I'm just gonna straight up have to draw like a full architectural blueprint for it because yeah, like it's kind of important. It's a fantasy series with a queendom, so like the stuff is very centered on like this castle shows up a bit. I need to really pin it down what it looks like. But yeah, I like the I want it to be walled. It's a castle on a hill, but it's not just like a palace. Like I want it to have fortifications. It's got little turrets and whatnots. Okay, what am I working on? It's a great question. Whoa, I turned it sideways. Okay. Like, always just pretend it's a different view. That's true. That's very true. Maybe there'll be a little bit of both. Maybe like I'll just sort of keep drawing it until eventually I have like multiple angles and then I can try to figure out blueprints after that. Like, I'm not even sure what's happening with this little, like, doorway. I'm just sort of drawing lines. Eh, there we go. Hmm. I think this is gonna be another one of those, like, beat my head against the desk pages, sort of like that bar scene I did aeons ago, which technically was only a couple pages ago. But I want I needed I need the castle. The castle's important. It is worth the headache to get it drawn. Oops. No. Okay. Didn't mean to minimize that, sorry. I just wanted to see what the what the song title was, and my OBS screen was blocking it, so I rearranged what was in front, if that makes sense. Um, I feel like that's gonna get edited a little bit, but see. I think I'll probably do the rest with color and shading on the bricks. So, okay. You know, I did do a pretty good job on those lanterns. I like those lanterns. All right. I think a lot of the I have no other word other than, like, the Animal Crossing words, the pathing here. I think a lot of it isn't going to be inked. I think a lot of it's going to be in like shading and coloring. But I do want to add a little bit of texture because I think it might be like a gravel path. So, like, it's a little more, obviously bumpy, but that's going to help give me a sight line for when I am coloring, um, to get those, to get it in how I sketched it out. I want to make sure it's like really clear that these are on top of these lines or whatever. Big halberds and whatnot. You know, it occurs to me that I actually. So, like, I have bows and arrows. And I don't keep mine strung. But then again, mine is just a hobby. And so half the time they live in the closet. And I string them when I'm going to, like, actually shoot arrows. And I feel like that's kind of more of the normal way to store a bow. But at the same time, these are like military people. And so, like, maybe they would keep like they're clearly on a rack like for guard rotation. So like maybe they would be kind of kept strung. We're gonna go with that. We're gonna go with that, and I just hope And if anybody, if any an archery enthusiast is like, no, they wouldn't do that because it's bad for the bow or whatever. Like what I'm thinking of, it's almost like they are military. It is a little bit like a loaded gun, but also not like one because like you still have to like put the arrow in it, like that's the bullet part of it, but like it is more ready to fire because like stringing a bow takes longer than a couple seconds, let me tell you. um Depending on how long it's been since you've strung a bow, it can take you upwards to 10 minutes from personal experience. Where I'm like, wait, hold on. Why isn't this working? This usually works. So I'm just gonna go with like they probably have other bows that are um like not strung, like in storage somewhere else. But these are the ready to go ones. That's what I'm going with because at a moment's notice, like say there's these two punks who bereaver den force mentix. Why would you try to solicit things from me? Well, come on. I'm just gonna call you out, and then I'm also going to goodbye. Maybe it's bereaved enforcement X. God, that's such a weird guys. First of all, don't sell me things. Second of all, get better names. It's okay. I don't have to talk. I don't have to think about them anymore. I banned them. Okay. All right. Think. So the railing on this side is for them, not. So I can actually probably make it a little bit prettier. And if I can draw a straight line. Oops. Oh, just. My phone was giving me a notification. So I don't know when I'm going to roll it out because I don't know, there's part of me that's like, oh, what if I make a big deal out of it? But then there's also part of me of like, girl, you got ADHD. Like, you're just going to have to like do things as they come. Um, but I did finish a new, whatever, a new me, a new talking me. And I have like a bunch of different variations of her. So I can have different, it's the same outfit. And I think I did have it on one of my streams. Sorry, I have like the hiccups for some reason. Hold on a second. They were like little mini hiccups. Okay, I think that's better. I don't know, sometimes my diaphragm, like, I'm gonna finish the sentence and then I'm going to immediately negate it. Sometimes my diaphragm just sort of like starts spasming on me in like a pseudo hiccup sort of way. Period slash. It's cause I'm almost completely bent over. Like I'm shrimping so hard and I'm like I have to actively like okay when that happens it's literally because you've accidentally folded your diaphragm so stay like sit up straight, straighten out your spine and it will unfold and you'll be fine. I'm a long torso girly. I can turn my spine into knots, but it's not fun when I do that. Apparently my lungs don't like it, nor the rest of me. Anyway, I think I was talking about my little bouncing me. Yeah, so I have a couple variations of her. Basically, she has different ears. Because I was like, oh, regular ears, like, okay, just for one, and then I was like, oh, fox ears. And I was like, oh, elf ears. So, but yeah, if I was like more of like a business kind of thing, like if I had a team, if I had like editors and someone to run the boards, while I'm just like basically in front of the camera, quote unquote. Um, maybe I would do like a big like rollout of like a whole like look. Because I also am the next step for me is figuring out how to get like stream elements to work at all because I actually kind of haven't turned it on because I haven't really messed with it anyway. Um, and get it to where like you guys can use your channel points to like I don't know. I was thinking like changing my outfit, changing my ears, or and then like there'll be other channel point rewards, I hope. Um we'll have to figure out how I know I've seen them on other people's stuff. So like I know it works. I just have to figure out how to make it work for myself. Um so like how much programming and whatnot's involved. Uh I am feeling slightly invincible because I finally figured out how to warp myself to different locations in Skyrim with console commands. A game that's been out for 20 years. But I did finally figure out how to do it. I've got Skyrim on the brain, thus the Skyrim music. But yeah, I want to do more of like more interactive with the channel points. I've got a new PNG tuber person. Oh, I still need to work on I don't have like I still have like my old user profile and banner. Like I don't even think I have a banner for my Twitch page, so I need to work on that. Those are pretty static. I can work on those. Um I want to have a way I this one I you can finish a thought. I'm drawing, so like I'm clearly in yap mode. My brain, all of my brain power is actually going to drawing these lines, so I actually kind of don't know what I'm saying right now. Um, yay, ADHD superpower. Anyway, um, the I have most of the graphic done that I want to use, unless I want to animate it. Of like some people have like custom graphics for like when people give them bits, like the little tips or whatever for Twitch. Um, and like the Twitch has one, and it's just sort of like a little like confetti sparkle thing. Um, and like, but you can replace that graphic. And so like I have a graphic now to replace that, and it's almost done. So like I want to add that in there. I also am like, while we are doing all these change up stuff, I'm also thinking of doing a new I don't know what you call it, layout, but like less of a layout, like a desktop layout, like actually added like because right now you're kind of seeing like my everything that I'm seeing, and then plus like the bouncing me. But like some people also have like chat in there, and little spaces for like messages, or like their recent followers or whatever. I'm kind of thinking of like, I don't know if you ever watch it's Onsta. I don't remember if that's her like actual handle, or if her like handle is like longer. I guess I could look it up, but that requires clicking on new tab, so sorry, Onsta. But yeah, like she has like kind of more of like a desktop, like that she then layers like the here's the thing that she's streaming, and then she's got her head, and then she's got like her chat, and they're kind of like all like organized, almost like one of those little like utensil trays. It's the best way I can describe it. She's got like a digital utensil tray for like all of her little things that happen on her stream. And I've been thinking about trying to do something like that for myself too. Um and yeah. But no, I think I'll probably I'm gonna say it because I don't think I'll get it done in time. Okay, so April Fool's Day is tomorrow, and I kind of really love April Fool's Day. Like, it's such a weird like kind of thing in my heart, because like I really don't like what other people call pranks. um, like I don't like mean pranks. Like any of those where they like the rug kind of snatched out from you, or the things that like could cause physical pain, even if it's temporary. Like I don't like any of those, but I do love absurdity pranks, like um so one year, my very good friend, whom I call my older brother, uh because that's kind of the role he takes in my life. Um like a bit of a role model, but also like I feel like I'm his little sister, so I get to just be so annoying to him. And he puts up with me for some reason. Anyway, he officiated my wedding. So one year, because he had been complaining on and off again. Him and his wife had been like, like we don't, they're not really gardener people. They just sort of have a yard, and there's like like we wish we had something nicer, but like neither of us are going to do anything about it. Like we because we know ourselves. And he was talking about like and we have so many other things to fix on the house. First, like number one, like I think their master bathroom is still kind of messed up. Like something's wrong with the plumbing, and they're like, it's been years and we still haven't fixed that. So like if we were going to spend money on a gardener, we feel like we ought to spend money on the plumber first. Totally understandable. So one year April Fool's Day rolled around, and me and my best friend, we were like, we had planned this out. We had gotten all the supplies beforehand. We loaded up in my car at midnight. We drove to his house in the middle of the night at midnight. It was technically on April Fool's Day, the minute it turned April Fool's Day. And we planted flowers in his yard. Like we just like, it was a small garden, but we planted him a garden. And so he woke up and there was like flowers in his yard. And he was like, he didn't say anything to us for a couple of weeks, or maybe it was closer to months, because I feel like it was closer to my birthday, before finally he was like, yeah, I don't know what happened, but like these flowers just like, maybe it was the in-laws, like someone must have gotten clearly tired of our stupid yard, our plain yard. And we were like, it's one of my favorite pranks I've ever pulled. And one of my favorite pranks, of which I have several that I've pulled on him. But yeah, those are the kind of pranks that I like. Those are like, I like the kind of, I don't know, the fun pranks, the absurd pranks, not the mean pranks that like make fun of people. Like those seem way too close to bullying to me. And I'm like, I don't want to bully people. I want to bring delight and whimsy into their life, And it's really hard to bring delight and whimsy into someone's life if you're like, putting a bucket of water on their head or whatever. Or forcing them to like, clean up something unsightly, like, when you TP a tree or something. Anywho, I gotta really like April Fool's Day. And where I was going with this was I was gonna try to surprise everyone here. Oh, I thought that was the eraser. Oh my god, no wonder. I was like, why is it not doing the thing I wanted to do? I was thinking of trying to quote unquote prank everyone here by giving myself the new PNG tuber, of which it's now done. But I was actually going to draw one more aspect of it, and I was going to give her a jester hat, um, like one of those big like Harlequin ones. And I really don't think I'm gonna finish that in time for tomorrow. Because I still am probably going to do an April Fool's Day stream just because like it is a holiday to me. I love April Fool's Day. Or Fish Day in or at least at some point in the 80s there was Fish Day in France. I don't know if they still do that. But according to, or maybe it was 70s, according to all of my textbooks, they talked about Poisson Day, which is fish. Something that was like a pun on April 1st. Anyway. Once again, I was kind of more thinking about how to do these lines, so I kind of don't remember what I was talking about at all. uh, I swear I can have a normal ass conversation if I'm actually concentrating on you, but I'm not concentrating on a normal ass conversation right now. So I haven't really looked into it. I've just been seeing like little things floating around. I mean, to be honest, I have to admit I don't really look into a lot anymore. Guys, the world is just so much. But I have seen stuff floating around of some type of like Firefly reboot or something. Um, and so that's not necessarily the reason we started rewatching Firefly. I think we started rewatching Firefly because for a day we didn't have internet and we were like desperate. But also we hadn't seen it in a while. We usually watch Firefly, like we usually go through the entire series like once a year because it's only like 9, 10, 11. It's only like 12 episodes. No, 12, 13, 14. It's 15 episodes. I do not count. The movie is canon. I have so many issues with the movie. Um, but so we started rewatching Firefly again, and I don't know. It's a good show. It could have been a great show. Um, at least in obviously my opinion. But it's a very good show, but I have like a constant running list of if a woman wrote Firefly, kind of things. Like going through this time around, I usually kind of pick one character to kind of follow because like the characterizations, the way they do the character development in that show is very good. Like that, like that's a very good part of the show, is watching how these characters grow. And everyone is their own person and they're unique and stuff like that. So that's really cool. But yeah, I kind of like, pick a person to watch and just sort of see how they grow throughout the show, like on my rewatchings. And and then as the years go on, I know more, so I see more things and all that kind of stuff. So um but I've been watching this, and I've been really kind of focusing on River, and like, she's not a character. She has no agency for like the vast majority of the show until the very end. And part of it is like they're trying to tell the story of an incredibly wounded, tortured girl, which I get. But like, I like this time around, I keep watching it and thinking, if this wasn't a show, if this was a like spelljammer campaign, like a tabletop game, um she wouldn't be a character. Like, she's not a person. She's like, there's no one playing River. She's an NPC. And because like she doesn't do anything, she has no agency. Like, almost every single one of her things is like the DM rolls some dice and goes, "Oh, I guess she's going to go crazy now and pull labels off of cans." Like, nothing has like meaning or whatever, like she just sort of, she seems to be the kind of Deus Ex Machina bomb that like goes off randomly whenever the narrator wants them to. um and so I was thinking about like how to fix that and stuff, and I don't know, now I'm kind of going like, now I'm like really in my head of like, if I rewrote and rebooted Firefly, what would the changes I would make, Like, we're already in the realm of fantasy and stuff like that. So like, obviously my version will never get made. But it's, I feel like that's a way, like, that in itself is like a way to critique a media, is like, the all right, if I was doing it, what kind of like, what would I keep and what would I change? What would I embellish on? What would I take out? You know, those are legitimate critiquing forms. So, anyway, I've been kind of thinking about that. Kind of wondering if I should like actually, I don't know, put pen to paper and like write it out, or if I should just like keep it all in my head. I have no idea. Um, but yeah, I have several thoughts on how I would change Firefly. Hope, like, for me, for the better. Like maybe, like, I'm sure other people will be like, "No, I kind of liked it this way," but um, they can make their own version of Firefly. This is the one that's going to live in my head. I did the exact same with the what's it? The Marvel Cinematic Universe. At a certain point, my things that I would have done differently with it, way deviated from like the route they were going, to the point where I haven't seen any of the new movies. Um, I basically just saw the first bit of the Avengers. Like, I saw all the origin stories. Um, I did see Iron Man 2 and 3, and I saw all three of the Captain Americas. I haven't seen Tom Holland Spider-Man at all. I haven't seen a lot of this, and I definitely haven't seen a lot of like the TV shows, because they were frequently on networks that I didn't have access to. So, and everyone's like, "We're so surprised by that," especially because like I worked at a comic book store, so like I get the surprise, but like, also my boss at the comic book store was not gonna pay for me to see the movie, so like, he was already only paying me like $8 an hour, so to run that damn store. Um, so I was not gonna spend 2 hours of my pay on a movie that I probably would end up not liking. I got very good at watching like screen recaps from Tumblr. Just so I would know what people were talking about. And that's just the Marvel. Then there was like all the DC stuff that was going out at the same time, and yeah. Um anyway, so, but yeah, like, I love the concept of superheroes, but at a certain point past the origin story, if your superhero doesn't start trying to actually fix, like, if your superhero is just defending the planet from alien invasions or whatever and not fixing the utter fucking travesty horrible conditions that people live in on this planet, like in reality, then to me it's like no longer a superhero movie, because I'm like, my reality sucks, help me escape from this reality, or show me things I could be doing to help more people here, because like right now, like, we're having problems right here. That's why I'm watching a superhero movie. I don't think I'd be watching a superhero movie if everything was hunky-dory. Like, I want to see, like, I want to see a symbol of heroism help fix the real problems that are happening in this world. But very few superhero movies actually like address real world problems. Um so they kind of like, it like takes me out of it, you know, because I'm just sort of like, so you're just fighting for the status quo. The status quo kind of fucking sucks. You know, give me a new status quo. Let's, like, this one isn't working. Let's try something else for a change. Um yeah, so I don't know. And like, I don't want to rain on anyone's parade. Like, I know superhero movies are still very um like, they bring people a lot of hope and they bring people a lot of joy, and sometimes you just want to see a good guy win against a bad guy, or the that's a great perspective. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, and like, I do understand why people like them. Like I was saying, I get wanting to see a movie where, you know, there's a clear good guy that's going to, and then you know for sure, you know that Captain America isn't gonna fail. Like, he's going to win against the bad guy, and that is useful too. But like, that's not what I need to watch right now, I guess. Like, I need to be like, okay, cool, I know you're gonna win. How? You know, like show me things I can emulate. Like, so I don't know. It's like, I got friends who are still deeply immersed and like in love with the whole superhero business. Um, but yeah, somewhere along the way, I'm just sort of like, man, my heroes haven't fixed anything for me. Which sounds weirdly selfish, but I'm just like, okay, fine. I guess I'm going to be my own superhero. Yeah, and some superheroes, I just straight up going like, I don't know, bud. The villain has a point. Oh my god, maybe you should let the villain win just for once, just for funsies. Um, yeah. I think honestly, that's also part of why I'm so into Star Trek right now. Is Star Trek is the kind of like, because it's futuristic, because they get to like, you know, it's kind of sleight of hand, like, yeah, 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 and then we fix things. Um, but they have like they do try to address the problems that we're having today. Like, and they do actively call out the problems that we have today as problems of, like capitalism is bad, like, you know, that kind of thing. Like, it disenfranchises the majority of living people. Like, not even a subset, literally the majority. And so like, when you have a massive amount of people who are like deeply unhappy and having like only partial or none of their needs met, like, that's a problem. Like, we're a social creature. Like, we should be in social societies where we're helping out each other, not just helping out the biggest asshole, you know. um and like, they talk about that, and on almost every single Star Trek has talked about that in some form or fashion. um and I think that's why I like Star Trek more, is because it is it's the superhero show that's showing like instead of just one guy in a cape fixing problems, it's like, all right, guys, now we have like a really cool captain and the rest of us, and we're all going to work together and try to figure out how to at least make this moment better for this group, you know, because like it's a lot more, I don't know, I guess it's like it's something almost easier to digest in terms of like, okay, I can't save the world, but I can save this community kind of thing. And then they frequently end up saving the world anyway, and the universe and all that kind of stuff. Some of their timey-wimey bullshit gets a little annoying, but I get it. I mean, it's a sci-fi show. Eventually, you're gonna have timey-wimey bullshit. I feel like, I feel like there's like a code somewhere of sci-fi writers everywhere of eventually you have one time travel story, but yeah. Anyway, because let me tell you, like if I ever get like Spider-Man powers, I'm probably going to be like, honestly, the news would probably have me as a villain. Like be like, you know, this person like burnt down the White House. Like, yeah, I did. You know, like it would start off small and it would escalate real fast. Because it's like, all right, we're gonna fix some things for some people. It's like it's not based on revenge. It's just based on like they're like almost like a Buddhist tenet of like, listen, man, like you're causing so much harm and negativity in the world, and I don't think anything that I'm going to do or say will make you stop. So we just got to take you out. We just got to put you back in rotation. You know, maybe you'll get reincarnated as a fly, and then you'll cause less harm for people or something. Like I'm going to go the whole like monk route of like, sorry, man, like. It's like, I'm willing to pay the consequences of your actions, taking you out. We watched in my long hiatus, we watched Glass Onion, which is the second Knives Out movie. I guess it's the Benoit Blanc series. I don't know if it has like a better name or they're like just calling one like the Benoit Blanc. Um, but first of all, if y'all haven't watched Knives Out, it's actually any of these. There's three now. I have not seen the third one, but Knives Out and Glass Onion were so good. I like no notes. I like every 10 out of 10. I would watch it every day if I could, if I had the time. Um and like the emotional capacity to watch them every day, I would. Um they're just very good, and I really like in Glass Onion where we get to see more of Benoit's, like not his process, but like I guess maybe process is the right word. Because like for those of you who haven't seen it, definitely like start with Knives Out. It's the first one, and it really sets the tone for like what they're trying to do with these movies. They're you know they're mysteries. Benoit Blanc is basically modern day Sherlock Holmes, except Southern and gay, which is not as obvious in the first movie. It is very obvious in the second, because it like the movie doesn't quite, I mean it starts with like the killers like normal, but like when the first scene you see of Benoit is actually at his house, so he's at his house, he's relaxing, you get to see him in his natural state as opposed to like I have my detective cap on. And so like you get to see more of like who he is, why he's doing what he does, how he does what he does, and like, all that kind of stuff, which I think is like, that was very cool to me. Um and I just hope the third movie, whatever it's Dead Man Walking something, I think Dead Man Waking, I don't remember, it's a long sentence of a title. um but anyway, so yeah, they're like little murder mystery movies. The first one is very murder mystery, and it's actually very tongue-in-cheek murder mystery, because like it's a famous, made up, but like quote unquote mystery author. And he's older anyway, and he has like a million books. He writes, like, publishes 2 books a year, kind of thing. Like one of those, like kind of pulp, but also like still good. Kind of like, I'm imagining kind of like a Dean Koontz kind of thing. Um, so like, mystery author. And he's got this family because he's made millions off of his books. He dies, and it's a little mysterious. So like, Benoit Blanc is hired to help solve a famous mystery writer's murder, because like the murder itself was very like it came right out of one of his books. So like they make references to that, of like, this is like, normal people don't just like do this, kind of thing. Like, this doesn't happen to regular people. And Benoit's like, yeah, but also these are like crazy rich people. They aren't normal people. Like regular folks don't have time for this nonsense. That kind of thing. um and it's very good. Uh and it's set up in the style of, uh I'm gonna like, I kind of wish I know, maybe I should study a little bit more in terms of like like, I know there's literal academic terms for this. You like the third one best, maybe? You like the third one best, maybe? Oh, interesting. Yeah, we haven't seen the third one, so I have no idea. But yeah, I really like the second one. Because I like how the mysteries are set up like Columbo mysteries, in which you see, like you kind of see the setup, like you see all the players, but especially like you see the kind of villains um beforehand. But like, it doesn't just start on the detective getting the job, it starts on like, here's what's happening, here's where the crime is going to take place, kind of, and then the detective comes in. Because like in Columbo, like they just straight up show the murder half the time, and then Columbo comes in, and then it's a question for the audience of, like, how is Columbo going to solve it, because like the audience already knows like what's going on. um and those movies have a little bit more of that too. Like, they don't necessarily show, at least the first two, they don't show like the whodunit right at the beginning, but like they set the scene, and you see all the players before Benoit ever shows up. um and Anyway, yeah, but I really like Glass Down, with the whole like, I'm just gonna do straight up spoilers, I guess. But Helen Brand, the like Andy Brand's sister, the twin sister, like when halfway through the movie, when they do that reveal of, where he's like, okay, well, first, like, here's how we're gonna that is still true. Okay. Like, when they're talking, when Benoit and Helen are talking, and like kind of setting up the whole like how are we gonna do this? Like, there's an invite to this, like, this guy's crazy island where blah blah blah, and he's like, well, I'll just stall them with a bunch of Southern hokum. And it's like, oh, and I don't know. There's something about that line in particular that I really liked, because it was like, so like, Benoit knows who he is, and he also knows how people perceive him, and he uses that to his advantage. And there's just something about that that's very delicious to me. He was like, I'll just like, I'm gonna do the normal song and dance of like, ah, I'm Benoit Blanc. Oh, look at this. This is wonderful. Like, I'm just like, that will give you time to do the thing you need to do. Like, he knows it is him, but it's also something that he can turn on people and like use to his advantage. I don't know. I just like there's something about it that I really like. I really like that. Um, but God, his whole speech was like, no, it's just dumb, but brilliant. No, it's just dumb. We ended up having to go through and like pausing like several times throughout the movie because we were like looking up the words that the I'm gonna have the it's gonna be right there. Miles Braun is the character's name. It's Elon Musk. It's very clearly Elon Musk. Um the Edward Norton character. Um all of all the vocabulary that he did wrong, we ended up pausing. And some of we knew right off the bat, and some of it was like we know that's wrong, but we don't know why. Like we don't know what word he's looking for. And so like we were like looking up like where what like we were like editing his speech, like if we were like English teachers. Going like, okay, I see what word you're looking for. That's not the word. What word you're looking for is this one. Um, and so we ended up doing that a lot. Oh God. But yeah, God, the NF children equals NFT. I think I've thought about that more than anything else in that freaking movie. I'm just like, it's so, it's so messed up. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, that might as well happen. God, with everything else that's happening nowadays, I'm just like, it's just gonna happen soon. And I hope Ryan Johnson is able to like do like a copyright claim and be like, technically I had that in my movie first and I gave you the idea, so you owe me money. Um God, there was a lot about that movie I really liked. Also the outfits, holy crap. The fits were so good. And there was something so cathartic about watching Helen just like smash all the glass statues. I'm like, okay, I never like I suspected that rage rooms would be kind of fun, but now I like no. Rage rooms might be fun. But also we've been we rewatched. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of too. That's fine. My husband has been having a really hard time at work lately. He's down several employees, so like coverage has been hard, and he's been basically not doing his job. Actually, he's been doing his job and somebody else's job at the same time a month now. If yeah, and it's probably going to continue like that for a while. So anyway, he's been coming home, and for a while, he would just come home and sleep. And like literally he would come home, he would get changed, rest for a second, I'd give him dinner, we'd eat dinner, and then he would be like asleep by 7:30. And then like, you know, get up at 7, start all over again. Um and there was, for a while there where he um no, I misremember. He hasn't had to work a weekend. Not in the way he used to. Last year he was working like 6 days a week pretty consistently. He hasn't had to work a weekend. He has had, I think he's had one Sunday in March that he had to go in and cover a site, and that was he was very annoyed by that. But I mean, yeah. So he's had the weekends, but at the same time, like on the weekdays, yeah, he like, he gets up at 7, he gets his stuff together, he leaves, he comes home. Now he's coming home at 6 usually instead of 5, and he's out by 7:38. Um so anyway, he's been trying to, even with like the stress of everything, of like actually trying to like, I don't know. He's tired of being tired. So we're kind of baby stepping, and we're watching a lot more like TV shows of like, okay, let's watch a couple of shows and then you can, pass out, kind of thing. That way he feels like he did something other than work that day, like work and sleep. So we've also gone through Frieren Beyond Journey's End again. The first season. The second season is out now, and uh coming out now. But we're saving those episodes because we watched season 1, we caught up. We watched the first episode of season 2, and then when we realized we only had like 5 more, um we okay, he was fine. I panicked. And I was like, listen, if I have to watch this weekly, I will die. So let's like kind of slow down and let's still watch them in a couple chunks, but then like try to walk away from it. Um, because oh my god, Frieren is so good. Frieren Frieren is just like a beautiful philosophical walk through the meaning of life. It makes you think so much about like, why are we here? What do we owe each other? What is like, what does it mean to impact someone's life? Like it's like one big beautiful philosophy class. And it's so beautiful. And like it's every episode, like season 2 already, like just they're flexing on each other to like who can do the best art. Like they the art in this show is so amazing. Um God, yeah. Just like if all artists need to watch Frieren, just straight up. Like it is a very good show, even if you're, not so much into the art stuff. Um because it is a like philosophical walk through the meaning of life. Um and like that in itself is so cool and so fun and beautiful and heart-wrenching to watch. It is the show that hands down makes me cry the most. And it still makes me cry. I've seen season 1 um 4 or 5 times now, and I know which episodes get me, and like they still get me. Like they're still like, no, like I haven't been desensitized to them. It's not shock value. It's just legitimately like you're crying because it's beautiful, but it's also like heart-wrenching. And it's a show about I mean, it's just it's too easy to say it's a show about grief. Grief is definitely a part of it, but mostly it's a show about um what happens when you don't die, where like you're immortal. Like Frieren is over 1,000 years old, multiple thousands of years old at this point. um and so, and she comes from a race of people that basically just don't die. They stay young forever. I mean, it's just a magical show, like literally a she's a mage, she's a slayer of demons, like that's her whole thing. um but like it's a show like not necessarily about her, even though she's the main character, because it's very much watching, like she is living a living history book. She still remembers what it was like when humanity was young, when like civilization was new. And so she's watching these same places grow and change around her. And from a human's point of view, they're like, that happened 100 years ago. Like, we've gotten over it. And she's like, 100 years ago for me was like yesterday. She's like, it's nothing for me to spend 50 years in one spot just studying, the same things in this area. Like, and the thing that I think that is really cool about the show is she really makes things seem so alive and interesting, because like she has no, like, she'll sit and like they have episodes where like she's been there for weeks studying the same flower, and she still finds things in it to study that like still bring her joy and love, and like, and there's something new. And like, so as humans are looking at it, they're going like, it's a flower. And she's like, it's not just a flower, like, look at this. And like, so she can, like, there's so much more to see and to be, and she'll be absorbed, and that's why she's will stay in a place for forever, basically. And meanwhile, the humans are like, you've been here for 2 weeks and we go now. And she's like, why? I have all the time in the world. But then she's getting used to the idea that the people that she loves don't have all the time in the world. And so she's like having to learn how to balance the fact that like she may have time, but like her family doesn't have to, or her found family doesn't have that kind of time. And so like, and that's like just one of the aspects of the show. It's just straight up just like, that's just one of the things they talk about. They also talk about like like raising children, especially like raising children that aren't yours, like it talks about like, what do you do with regret, like not even just grief, but what if like you regret something and there's no way, like there's just, you can't fix it, like you can't go back in time and fix it, so how do you carry on, how do you go on living, how do you, what do you do to try to assuage that feeling in yourself, kind of thing. Like they have all of that. Like the show was so good. But also it's really pretty, and everyone should watch it. The anime, opening and enders, where they do the beginning theme song, and then they have one for the closing credits. um I'm struggling even to find the words, because like it is such a good blend of not only just like really gorgeous artwork, but like the emotional impact that they hit. Like this, like whoever these animators are, they just need raises. Every single one of them needs a bonus, needs a raise, whatever. Like it's, I've seen a lot of shows. A lot of shows are made for entertainment, and that's totally cool. We need a lot of entertainment, and so like, you get your boys anime, shonen anime, where it's like, just like a bunch of high schoolers and we're gonna fight demons, so it's like a bunch of punches and kicks and blah blah blah, and they're gonna have like a, cool, probably one cool scene in the anime opening where you see the one guy punch, and then the camera like turns around, and then you realize it's not a camera because it's all drawn, so it's all anime, so you're like, oh man, they had to draw that, and that's cool. That's like, honestly, that's impressive in itself. But the ones in Frieren are, because it's showing the different aspects, the different like eras of her life, and they all layer on top of each other, and then they start to blend into each other, where like it's hard to tell, like she clearly has a great reverence and love and respect for um this man named Himmel, who has at this point has died 30 years ago. Like he died when he was 80, and that was 30 years ago. So it's been like 100 and something odd years since she really last interacted with him, like in his height, in his prime. But those actions have still clearly made such a mark on her. And then like his face is then slowly superimposed on her apprentice, who is currently making like the this like her apprentice is her new Himmel in some sort of fashion, because like but she's like reacting to her now because she's like, I didn't get to show Himmel how much he meant to me while he was still alive, but I'm gonna try to do better with Fern, kind of thing. And like, and the anime open like just fully like it shows you that. It doesn't tell you, but it shows you that with the way that it like inner like imposes like the art frames on top of each other. And that's just like the first anime opening. The credits, like they just like give up on the traditional anime method halfway through the season, and they're like, no, let's just do claymation for the closing credits, and like let's just do a colored pencil watercolor thing. Like they just start. I'm fully expecting to see oil, like animated oil paintings sometime halfway through season 2. Like they are going through almost every single form of like art you can think of. Like they have like little origami bits. They have like the claymation one. I watched that twice in a row. The first time they flip, they tend to change like their mid-season thing. They'll change their ending credits to kind of catch up with like the new vibe of like the last half of the season kind of thing. Like now that you've learned this part for this season, we're gonna change it. So, they tend to do a couple. And a lot of animes do that. But like when it that first time they switched to the claymation one, and she's just walking through like the vines of this big forest following this butterfly, that event, like I just and let me tell you, I'm dying with the end of season. God, maybe I'm getting the openings and enders confused. The one where she basically, the very first thing she does is like the song goes, and it's the lady is singing in the background, the credits are rolling, and you just see Frieren walk up, and there's a grave on a hill, and she walks up to the grave, and then she just lays down on the grave as if like her head is in its lap, kind of thing. I just, my heart. But yeah, we've had a lot of discussions about or we talked a lot about Frieren. But also like not just Frieren, because like Frieren's the protagonist. Frieren is the one who, and like it's very clear why she's the protagonist. She's the one who has actively decided, I need to change. Like I'm not keeping up with the rest of the world, so I need to figure out a way to keep up. Like to change with like the timing of the world. Like I used to be able to go hundreds of years, and things were about the faces changed, but everything was about the same, because she basically she lived and like survived in like dark times, kind of thing, like not quite prehistory, but like close to it, when people were still like little tiny groups and stuff like that, like humans were barely existing. In her perspective, where like the world was still mostly just like jungles and wilds and all that kind of stuff. And now that like humans have established cities and countries and stuff like that, where like she's realizing, she's like, I am being left behind in a way. Like I can't just wait 100 years. If I wait 100 years, I've missed so much stuff. There's so much things happening. And like she enjoys what humans create, especially because like the in this fantasy world, humans are also learning and using magic, which it's magic, but it's also like, I feel like it's like their version of technology and stuff. So like some of the stuff she's finding is like cool gadgets in a way. It's just like this is doing what, you know? It's like the vampire who discovers iPhones exist. And they're like, okay, this is like legitimately neat. Like I was, you know, kind of from someone in the 1600s turning into an iPhone. Yeah, they're confused on how it works, but like once you show them the how it works and what it can do, like anyone is going to go like, holy crap, this is kind of amazing. Like look at this magic. Um and it also talks about like the differences in what's it like to grow up with that kind of magic slash technology, because like her apprentice has always been around for um like the very first spell she learned when she was, or no, it's not the first spell she learned. First spell she learned was like some type of little whatever, she made butterflies appear. But she was like 8 years old when she was casting this like essentially magic missile. And you know, big beam of light, it does damage, whatever kind of thing, like, you know, giant bullet basically. And but to her that's, but like that was, she was 8, she learned that when she was little. And Frieren like later explains to her like they're fighting like a demon, and she's like, I still have to think about the spell. Like I have like this, it's not natural to me. I did not grow up learning this. I learned this in my adult life. It takes me, like, I'm quick at it because I'm good at it. I'm good at doing like, there's like calculations and stuff that the mages do. Anyway, she's like, I'm good at it and I'm fast, but like I still have to do, it's not intuitive. But Fern, you've never not had it. You cast it like you're breathing. And Fern is just sort of like, I don't have to think about it. Like she gets her to realize in one part of like, oh, that's what Mistress Frieren means. I don't have to think about it. It is like breathing to me. Like it didn't occur to her that other people might have to think about casting the spell because Fern is so like, it's just, it's a spell she's always had. She's always been able to do it. So she never has to think about that. And anyway, I don't know. I think it's a really cool look. You know, it's a really good metaphor for how the advancements of time affects people differently, and like not just individuals inside the same generation, but how it affects different generations differently. Um because like, you know, Fern's young, she's her apprentice in the show, she's like, I think she's like 18 or 19 now. When we meet her, she's literally 8 years old. um like they do a couple of time skips, but like she's a young adult. Like she's you know, the kind of high school age. She's probably now into the more of the, you know, graduated high school. Like she's a little older now. Of course, there's not really even high schools or colleges so much in this world, because it's still very much like pre-Renaissance, maybe like right around the Renaissance era kind of time. It's Fantasyland, so they don't have to like actually deal with real history so much. They can make their own history to make whatever point they want to make. Um, but the show is so good. And I wish the best for the artist, because I think she had to take, I hope she's healed now. I think if I remember right, I looked it up and like there was a really long hiatus. I wonder if she's drawing again, cuz like she broke her hand. So she had to stop work on the comic, and I feel like people were upset. But I mean, like, you know, she broke her drawing hand. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, she's like, hey, I literally can't draw until this thing is healed again. So, um, I think that's what happened. And then also, oh god, and then I think if I remember right, I'm pretty sure this is the studio that basically had that terrorist attack. So, that's why season 2 took so long. Uh, it's like someone went in and basically killed a lot of the animators, which is just horrifying. I mean, it's tragic, but also it's just like they weren't caught in a tornado or something. A man went in and decided to kill them for reasons. And it's like, my God. Oh, but one of the things I really like about Frieren is I think I started talking about it and then I rambled on about something else. Um so she's, you know, she's the main character. She's the one who has the most agency. Like she's decided like, okay, like, you know, times are changing and I need to learn a better way to keep up with them, you know, or rather that, you know, part of it is that she's learning that she wants to keep up with them too. She doesn't just want to like drift away and just become a somebody's long lost forgotten legend, you know. Um but there's other elves. There's two other elves. So there's two other immortal beings. On top of which I'm starting to suspect that the goddess herself, like they talk about, like, you know, the goddess, the person who created the world and stuff like that in this universe. um I'm starting to think that woman is also some type of like proto elf, and that like maybe Freyr, it's closer to call elves maybe like demigods in some way. um because I'm really starting to wonder if that's where they're going with the show. I don't know, and I haven't read the volumes. I'm just seeing foreshadowing that might not actually be there. But anyway, they have another elf, another female elf too. Um and like watching her and comparing her to Freyren, and you get to see like, okay, this is what like this is what Freyren could have been, because like that other elf like just has long ago decided in some way in the back of her mind that she wasn't going to change. She was just like, she locks herself away in a way like in a tower almost, but like she does it to herself. Where she like doesn't want to keep up with people. She doesn't want to keep up with the change, so she just like doesn't. And at this point, she's so like, at this, like Freyren literally calls her a child. Like like, and, you know, they're the same age, or Freyr might even be younger. It's hard to say. And at that point, you know, it's hard to say younger or older because they're both like thousands of years old. Um, but like Freyr, like it, like she looks at this other elf now, this elf that used to have like authority over her. You know, it was her master's master, her teacher, basically her teacher's teacher, and now she's looking at her, and she goes, "Oh, you haven't grown at all. Like, it's not that you just haven't changed. You are still the exact same being with the exact same attitudes and the exact same, um, like, viewpoint as you were before." And Freyren is now realizing that she's like, and I don't think that's a good thing. Like, before, she, like, may have respected it. But now she's like, oh, we're gonna leave you behind so much in the dust. Like you're not keeping up. um like the world has changed, and Freyren is like, the world is always going, like, I think her, blah, blah, blah. I think what Freyren is discovering, at least that's what I'm discovering by watching her, is that like the world is going to change no matter what. But if you're in it and acting in it, you can change the world for the better. But like if you're not acting in it and not doing anything in the world, it is still going to change with your input or not. It just may not change for your better, you know? So like, be in the world, have impact, like do things, you know, at least then you know that you put yourself in there to influence it in some way. um is not that they tell you that in so many words, but I think that is the gist of like, kind of like, I don't know, the moral of the story of this entire show. um which, oh my god, right up my jam for sure. But yeah, Saria is like, she just, she's the living grimoire. She has, I, 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 I don't know what's going on with her mentally, other than I think in a way she doesn't know how to do it, and she's very deeply jealous of Frieren for being able to go, I think I want to change now. I think I want to become a different person, because I don't think Saria knows how to do that. She has been herself for so long. She has no idea how to even start to change, like be a better person. And she's like very jealous of Frieren for having the gumption to try to be a better person, I guess. I don't know. But it is, oh god, the show is so good. Also, I really like the character Ubel for like completely opposite reasons. There is a character who is, she's not well. She's, it's it's interesting because like I don't know if she's psychotic. I mean, she is okay. You know, yeah, she's psychotic. Like she really enjoys hurting people. Um, but it's weird because like they definitely equate all of her stuff with like I mean she has like a little speech in some of her episodes where like her magic doesn't work without empathy. Like she just the closer she feels, the closer she understands a person, the more like the more it works, essentially, like the stuff that she can do. And it's like, oh, that's interesting, like, you know, because like she, and then that's not, you know, that's not just her saying it, you can see it happening like on the screen, they show it pretty well, of like the more she understands a person and starts to kind of like realize how they tick, the more that she can copy their magic and mimic their magic because she knows where it's like coming from. um but she's also psychotic, and it's just a really interesting way to watch. Like I would never want to be in the same room or within 500 feet of this woman. This woman terrifies me. She is, but she's so fun because it's such like because it is empathy, but it's like the evil side of empathy. She understands you, she really does, but that doesn't mean she cares about you. She just knows how you work now, knows why you do the things you do, and now she wants to know what it would be like to watch you break. And I'm just like, ah, god, she's such a good character. And I love the fact that like she's correct most of the time. The show, the episodes that she shows up in is during like a big magic there's a exam, essentially. It's like here's the Harry Potter bit of the show kind of thing, of like, you know, a bunch of magic students and we're all going to take a test. And so like, you know, they talk about the like the essentially the fantasy rules in this world of how magic works, like what the laws of magic are, you know, instead of the laws of physics. um because magic does trump physics, but only in a very specific, like there's, you know, same way that there's like Newtonian laws of thermodynamic kind of thing, there's like, yeah, anyway, um whatever, there's laws of magic. And so she's talking about that, and she's like, you know, go, and she's not wrong, like they are like, here are the laws of magic, and she's like, yeah, so I'm doing it this way. And they're like, well, that's not the proper way to do it. And she's like, what is proper? I passed your test. Like, I did all of the math equations, you just don't like the fact that I did them quicker and faster than other people because I found a better way to do calculus, you know, kind of thing. um the fact that she equates it to rock paper scissors, actually she's not the one who does that, but somebody else does it on her behalf, of like, you know, like Oopal's not wrong, like it is essentially a game of rock paper scissors because her main spell is basically scissors. She can cut anything. If she can imagine cutting it, it will be cut. And so, if someone's got a cloak of invincibility, she's like, that's a cloak. It's cloth. Cloth can be cut. And they're like, nuh-uh, but mine is like a super magical cloak that can't be cut. And she's like, it's a cloak. Like, I have scissors. Scissors cuts cloth. Um, and then like nothing can stop her because scissors cut cloth, and that's just how magic works. Um, because it kind of is a game of rock paper scissors. But yeah, I don't know. I there's much about Frieren that I really like. I guess I just really like the philosophical shows. I like the shows that like really make me think about like the nature of being alive. I'm also trying to decide how I want to do the rest of these like little handrail thingies that I've set up here. They're definitely not very child safety friendly, but that's okay because hopefully you don't have children running up here. But you might have halflings. Shit. Do I have hobbits in my universe? Yeah, I had a couple of gnomes. Hmm. Just been plugging away at my artwork. Then now I'm thinking about OSHA standards for people of vastly different sizes from each other. Like, it could be like species dimorphism. I don't know. I don't know what the correct word would be. Like a Chihuahua and a Doberman are both dogs, but they're clearly very different sizes. Whatever that is, for fantasy reasons. And maybe that's why I like Frieren so much. Is like, or maybe that's why I'm always thinking about stuff like that. It's like it's all the same thing. Like I want to think about like how do things work and tick and what's the meaning behind things, even in something as simple as architecture. What if there's like a little secondary iron thing? Why not? Let's just have the most intricate. Yeah, I think we're gonna do something like add more detail. Woo! When in doubt, add detail. It'll just take us another million years to finish this comic. We'll do some curly cues or something on them too. It is a palace after all, even if this is the it's essentially something just the I don't know, guards, law enforcement, something. That was my break time. I'm just gonna I'll get up here in a second. I don't know. I don't know, finish or collect my thoughts or whatever. There, they've got OSHA regulation. I'm pretty sure I made this joke before, but I'm like, I think I really am gonna add like goddess or patron saint of safety and just call them Ocean. Like, I think honestly, that's gonna be just a part of the world. Okay. Okay, we're gonna save. Um, all right, cool. All right, I think I'm going to take a break. Pause right there. I'm going to mess with my headphones. There we go. All right, yeah. I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna take like 5, 6, something or other minutes. I'll be back. It is 10:32 right. Excuse me, 10:32 right now according to my clock. I will be back before 10:40, somewhere between 10:35 and 10:40. Um, let's just call it 10:40, and maybe like if I do come back, I'll hang out and whatever, chat a little bit. But I won't start drawing until 10:40. So, okay, I'm gonna switch over and I will be back in a second. Okay, we're slowly getting back in. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I'm thinking we probably will not hit page 18 today. That's okay. I mean, we're getting a lot on the railing done, and this page is going to be very intricate as well, so that's fine. I said I would wait until 10:40. We got about a minute left. Oh my goodness. Yawning. I don't want to make any promises, not even to myself. At this moment in time, I'm having a hard time just keeping my regular discipline going, as you can tell by my stream consistency. I would like to start adding some other streams, like times and days eventually. I really like the Tuesday Thursday morning. I do really like that. So one of the things I've been thinking of is like kind of the occasional or maybe even a non-art stream. Oh, it's 10:40. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and switch back over to art screen now. Yar. Oh, I need my glove. Oh no, I need my glove. Um, but yeah, I've been thinking about adding another, not like a regular time slot, but like I don't know how to put it. The If I was going to stream at another time, you might also see me on Wednesdays and or Saturdays. Like I don't know if I want to commit necessarily to streaming 4 times a week. Not right now, especially considering I can hardly handle the 2 times a week. um, but yeah, I've been thinking about adding that and maybe even doing like I don't even know. I do a lot of stuff. I do a lot of crafty stuff. I do a lot so many video game things. Um oh, like I kept saying I was gonna do that with Legend of Zelda, and I probably will. In fact, I might even stream it. But I've been playing Stardew Valley in Spanish, and holy crap. Like I apparently that's just the way that my brain needs to learn Spanish, I guess. Or any language. And thank goodness Stardew Valley has like a ton of different translations. Um like just built into the game. So if I ever wanted to learn something else, it would be right there. But yeah, I've picked up so many words. I'm like actually getting braver about like, I mean, not that I wasn't before. I'm relatively brave when it comes to communication. Um, but yeah, like I have so much more vocabulary now, and I'm like picking up, like I'm overhearing Spanish conversations, and I'm actually like picking out words when before none of it made sense to me. Like I knew like 5 or 6 words, and like I knew some of the colors, and I knew some of the greetings and stuff like that. But now it's like I've figured out what like something or somewhere, like what, like that, like it's the algo or alguen or whatever. It's like that's the kind of pattern it follows. Like I can hear that now, and I'm like hear other people when they mention it. And I can almost tell what they're saying. Like if they're especially like if they're asking a question, like he went somewhere. Like I know that statement now. Um, like when we were at the hotel, like you're just walking by the rooms, and there was two like Spanish speaking housekeepers, and they're just talking to themselves like as they're cleaning the rooms and just walking past, and I pick up on the whole like what did you want, the I can't remember what it was, but like yeah, I was like I could understand like half of what they were saying, just by picking out words here and there that I did know, and I was like, oh, it's just they're talking about their day, they're talking about the whole like grab me this towels probably, but like the whole like it's like there's something in here. you know like I I know that word now. Um, you know, and I know what here is, and like I don't know, I'm getting better at it, and part of it's like, or not even part of it. A big portion of it is because I've been playing Stardew Valley in Spanish, and more than that, I've been when I play it in Spanish, I'm forcing myself to read out loud every single thing that's on the screen. Like full annoying little kid learning to read for the first time. I remember doing this as a kid when I was learning how to read. I would read everything out loud that I saw. Just like I don't know, prove that I could do it. Just happy that I could do it, I guess. And I I remember I remember I don't know, maybe I drove my parents insane with it. Um but I would read like car signs or signs on the side of the road. And I have to admit I still sometimes do this as an adult. I don't know what that says about me. But like I'll be going like, when you're 3 or 4, it's one thing because you're just sort of like MPH 35 or whatever, or speed 35 mph, and then like you're reading a sign that's like buy tractors, like and like I said, I still do that as an adult, where now it's more the billboards or things that jump out at me that I think are like funny or whatever. But like when I was a kid, it was literally anything that I could read, and I would be trying to sound it out, and especially because like I think the car not only gave me new and interesting words, that wasn't like in a kid's book or a Dr. Seuss or a picture book or whatever. Like these were like in my, I think in, I'm not sure. It was so long ago, guys. It has been so long since I was 3 or 4. like I don't want to give you how many decades it's been. Um, but I think in my head it was like, in a way, it was like these are real adult words because these are the words that are written for adults. Like kids don't drive, so these signs weren't made for me. They're made for people who are like out on in their cars or whatever. The words that were made for me usually have big bright block letters and they're more my height, but like these were tall words. They're for adults. And like I think that's what attracted me to them, and that's why I wanted to read them all out loud, because I was like, these are big adult words and I'm reading them. Even though it was just like Tractor Supply. But yeah, anyway, that's what I do with Spanish in Stardew Valley, is I force myself to read everything, and I force myself to read everything out loud, and I have now caught myself even reading it in vaguely like like voices. I'm like doing the voices, like when you're reading a kid's story, you get the evil wizard and you have to talk like this now because he's the evil wizard. Or you're like, oh no, I'm the damsel in distress, like you're doing the voices, you do all the voices. So I've noticed that I've actually started doing voices now too, as I'm going through the game, playing it in Spanish and giving, which has been like weirdly helpful, at least for me, because like it's getting me used to the idea of hearing a language that I'm trying to learn, but in like different voices, in different accents. I'm trying, I think it's helping me, I hope. I've been having a couple people correct my pronunciation on things, but I am doing this mostly alone. So like, I don't know, maybe streaming it would be nice if I can like stream it and put it in Espanol and hopefully get some Spanish speakers in. Anyway, but like I'm hoping it's helping me figure out like what's accented, what's emphasized, for different things. Yeah. I also need to watch what was it called? Like the Tres Marias, the Marias telenovelas about I think it's a singer, but like my sister-in-law gave me the list of them in the group chat of like, these are like kind of like the three, like the triumvirate of like Mexican television, of like watch the Tres Marias, like she did these 3 shows. um like individual shows, you know, with multiple seasons attached to them, kind of thing. But you know, they're like, in my mind, they're like the Star Trek and the West Wing. You know, it's like everyone's seen Friends, everyone knows about Star Trek, everyone, you know, like in like an American culture, like what are the big shows that be like, if to really understand this generation, like, okay, we need to get this in here. Doesn't hurt to watch just a little bit of SpongeBob so you know what that stupid like humor is like, you know, that kind of thing. But yeah, my sister-in-law was like, no, if you want to understand people my age, like, or older, like, you gotta watch these shows. And I'm like, no, I totally get it. Like, that's just, you know, if that's part of like your shared generational culture, then like, yeah, that's a huge, like, how many times my brother quotes Seinfeld, like, or my dad, or The Simpsons, you know, like, it's, if you're from another country and you never see The Simpsons before, you might not understand the average person's freaking references because half of it's Simpsons, you know, or Friends, or Seinfeld. So no, totally understand that. Um, I actually think that would be kind of a cool project, just like in general, like start like some type of like forum kind of thing of just sort of like, you know, cultures of the world unite. What like media, you know, whether it be uh you know, movies or TV shows or albums, you know, that like are important for good or for ill to your culture, that like the vast majority of people not just know of, but like quote or reference on the daily kind of thing. Like if you're going to hear a reference to something, or someone's going to make a joke, or they're like, you know, some business is going to make a pun or that kind of thing, what are they going to be punning and making fun of, you know, like what, like, because like there's Simpsons types advertisements, there's a freaking Braveheart for I think Windows, like literally glass window repair, and it's on a big billboard, and it's like pretty near my house, but it's just like they're you know, the face of their business, probably the owner, because that happens a lot here, painted up in the whole blue paint, you know, half of his face is painted blue, and he's screaming, and it's like freedom from broken windows or something. Like it's a very silly advertisement, but like if you've never seen Braveheart, you're probably looking at that and going, what the hell does that mean, you know? But like here everyone knows what that, like, or not everyone, but like a very large common denominator of people knows that reference here. So anywho, I think that would actually be kind of a cool thing to kind of come up with, as like a cultural database of like, to understand X culture, these are the media things that like really help you get a leg up on that. Because like even as you go into deeper niche subcultures, I feel like there's also um you know, even more to unpack there, like the artist, especially the goth kind of artist type, dark fantasy to, you know, heavy metal or whatever. Like for my generation, definitely like watch any of the Crow movies, which are rare. Like they're harder to find for sure, and they're also like they were cult classics. They weren't like big blockbusters, but like they were so meaningful for like especially like goth kids my age. Like we were all like trying to dress up as them, and like and then like listening to The Cure. um like yeah, that's one I can think of right off the bat. Like I was watching Jenny Nicholson, a video essayist, if those who are not familiar. She's got like a bajillion followers, so like you may have heard of her before. But anyway, on YouTube she has a new video essay that came out, I don't know, like last week, about an incredibly indie film called Incubus. And like, you know, I'm watching her do the video essay, I'm not actually watching Incubus. I would have to like I think she said like, you know, here's the places you can find it, but it's indie, it's old, and it's rare. So like you can find it in parts on YouTube. She has the DVD. I think she has several DVDs, to be honest. But yeah, they also had a DVD release, so like, you know, if I wanted to spend money on it, I could get it that way, I think. Probably through eBay. Um, but like I'm watching the clips that she's posting and it's like, oh, yeah, these like the fashion, the ambiance, the tone of the movie, it's like, yeah, this is similar to, you know, not just The Crow, but like The Crow is a big one because it's that goth, dark, like beauty and death and all that kind of stuff. Lots of black lace and velvet. Oh my god. Way too many necklaces and like 1,000 layers. Everything's ruffled for some reason. But also with black leather and chains. Because you can have the best of both worlds. Um, it's like, yeah. It's like, ah, yes, that's why Eris is the way she is. But also, let me tell you, watching that video essay and like I actually might go try to find a copy of Incubus and watch it. Um, it's one of those things where like, I mean, she even talked about it in the video essay. It's one of those things that like, you know, she hesitates and I would hesitate probably to call it good, but there's also something about it that's very, I don't know, entertaining and charming. Especially now knowing like the history behind it, because apparently this movie was written and like I guess directed and starred by a 19-year-old like graduate of like some art school of like a art college or art not even college, high school. And it's basically just knock off Twilight, but like, you know, she and her friends made a movie, like a full, like, I mean, I think it was an hour and a half, 2 hour movie, like it's a full thing. um and like she and her best friend did all the music for it, like they actually composed an album, very very evanescent sounding, like very, you know, like goth music basically. um and it's like, you know, the clips of it and stuff like that, I'm like, it's charming, it's on like knowing that it was basically a bunch of high school, like just graduated high school kids who put this thing together, but they had a budget. But like the seeing like the decisions they made and like what they wanted to keep in and what they like didn't bother telling you. Like, there's so many plot holes in the movie apparently. But also like there's also so many different like there's costume changes that like, even though this is supposed to happen over the course of like, I don't know, a couple days, a week, something like that, I don't remember. um like some characters would change multiple times, like multiple different costumes that are supposedly in the same day. Just like seeing those choices that they made with, you know, to, yeah. um I don't know, there's something charming about it. And hey, you know, like how many people can say not only like they made a movie and they made an album and they, I think, wrote several books, um and apparently they also dated a vampire, like, quote unquote, but like there's like, I guess, some TikToker who was just, you know, so and so the vampire, and I guess they dated for a while. So it's like, apparently you can have everything, you know, you just got to go out there and get it. You know, it's not going to come to you, you got to go out and chase it. But you can have everything. You can make your own movie, you can write a book, you can make an album that was apparently nominated for a Grammy. Like, I, some of the songs she played clips of and I was like, oh no, they have talent, like this, these are songs. This, you know, and it's not everyone's genre, so like I get that, but they work. The music kind of slaps. But it's like holy shit, you know, at 19-year-old, if you're just like confident enough, you really can just like go chasing after everything you wanted, including dating a vampire. And there's, I don't know, something very uplifting about that. It's like, I don't want to date a vampire. In fact, I'm really done with dating, especially now that I have met and married and live with my husband. But maybe I could be an elf. What if I'm an elf? What if I'm an ageless, immortal being who's just sort of weird and lives in the woods and loves picking flowers? I look like a child, but I'm older than your great great grandma. That's my goal. I think I'm just describing Frieren at this point. I really don't know what kind of movie I would do. I'm actually not much of a movie person. But yeah, if I ever made a movie, I have no idea. I probably wouldn't be the main character in it, to be honest. Those aren't usually the stories I want to tell. I think I would be in the background. I think I would like, do the like the little cameo, or like I would be like the barista, the bartender, or someone. But yeah, I would do a cartoon though. Like honestly, I'd probably do a Queen's Rogues cartoon for sure. It's actually kind of like on my list of like places I could take Queen's Rogues. Places being kind of more of a intangible idea, less of a tangible idea. Just like ideas, basically. Not sure if I don't know. They don't need to be like little arches, I guess. Oh, where's my? What am I doing? Yeah, maybe I'll just do more like. Oh, that's the eraser. It's in a kind of an awkward angles. Probably should be more even, but whatever. 2 in one day. Sem- semantic myosin. Yeah. No. Don't solicit things from me. feel like that doorway is like a little short. Actually thinking, what if I maybe take some of these steps out, make it just a little. Just make the door taller. That seems better. Like maybe they have to duck a little bit, but it won't be too egregious. Let's see. How would this go? It just goes right into the door. Okay, I think that looks better. A little messy in here, but it's fine. And honestly, most of this is going to be covered up in gray for the stonework. Gray and blue. Gray, blue, and white, I guess. So. That's something. That's it sure do be something. Okie dokie. Well, that sure does look like a railing. It should be like that. Texture in there. I still haven't finished that little door. Okay. Arbitrarily decided to draw a lantern on it. I mean, there probably would be. It's right by the door. It helps illuminate the doorway. It's not like there's street lights over here, so the lanterns would be the light source in the dark because it is dark. It is currently nighttime and when this scene is happening, so. be sideways. That's more like public postings. The door be open or closed? I think, I don't know. Little sign, probably like a passive aggressive. I'm thinking like a passive aggressive, like keep door closed at all times sort of sign. Okay. Okay, I'm like clearly not done, but no, so we still have like 40 minutes left. Don't know if I want to fix that part of the railing now. Like other than this part of the railing right there, I think this panel is about done being inked. The only things really left are um I have like a little panel. I don't know why I'm pointing with my other hand and not doing with. I have like a little panel up here that I need to draw in, and then some sound effects, like the bell tolling. Just take that. Not sure about the arm. I feel like I know something's wrong with the arm down here. Let's actually go back and then maybe this is what I need. Oh, I also need to re-familiarize myself with what they're wearing. I think it's just a mimicry of whatever Jameson was wearing, but I need to go find that file. This will be mostly covered up by his hand, but I did want to draw him yawning. Nothing quite like showing, it's a calm, sleepy night. Then one of your nighttime guards just sort of like, he's still doing his job, he's still doing his rotations, but he's also like walking and yawning at the same time. Like, they're not on high alert, you know? Yeah, that's my thought. I'm gonna bring this eye a little closer. Yeah, maybe we're gonna try that. Oh no, we're gonna try that. Yeah, that seems better. I guess I could, but it's not the intent. And then most of that will be covered up by hand anyway. He's yawning, just like I just did. Centurion-ish helmet here. The cheekbones. Cheekbones are very important. I don't know why I just decided to give this man like really long eyelashes. Dude, some dudes have really long eyelashes though, I've noticed. Like everyone, all the eyelashes that I have like met that I was like, holy shit, those are long, have been on like males. Thinking he has little like, you don't just like stick the helmet directly on your head. Well, I guess you could, but he probably has like a little like essentially a do-rag, but like a little bandana kind of thing. Because hey, like that helmet is probably very warm and you know, which is probably really nice on a cold day, sort of, except then the metal is probably going to make it colder. But yeah, you're going to be sweating under there for sure. So, having something that would be easy to then, like, take off, replace the bandana with a dry one, you know, halfway through or something, that would probably be a lot more comfortable. I'm not wondering if I should bring that other eye over. Well, let's just zoom out. We'll see. That feels better to me for some reason, so we're gonna go with that. It's gonna have like call it. I guess the Dick Van Dyke kind of like mustache and like little goatee, but like not a full beard. Like he still shaves around the side of his cheeks. Probably because it'd be really hot under that helmet otherwise. So having, he probably grows his beard out in the winter, and then he shaves in the summer, just so like I don't know. I don't grow facial hair, so I don't know what the. And my husband is just determined to be, um, I don't know, like just hairy, I guess. He wants to look like a guy who lives in the woods. spending so much time on this guy, like I'm actually like weirdly becoming invested in him. And I'm like, yeah, I think this guard's gonna show up again. I think like whenever I need a guard to like just be standing around or, you know, doing his job, but also doing like the bare minimum of his job, I think it's gonna be this guy. And that's okay, because like he is doing his job. He's doing the and he is doing the bare minimum. And so like it's just like it is just a job. He's just here to support his like, his spouse and his kids. Like he's not a general or anything. He's just a palace guard. Like he doesn't have to be struck with like the fervor of, country and loyalty. He's like, this is just a job. Like what I do is important, but at the same time, it's also just a job. It's like it's only occasionally dangerous, and it's only dangerous when other people make it dangerous. Maybe he's a holdover too. Maybe he's been in this job for a while, and so now he's like, or been in the palace security for a while. Because I would like to imagine that since Queen Annalise solves most of her problems by coming at them sideways anyway, like maybe he has an easier time of it because like the assassins that are getting sent after her are more likely to show up at a court, fancy party ball function than, just a guy like the peasantry trying to climb the wall to kill the queen or whatever. Like that doesn't really happen anymore. Mostly because she's done a pretty good job of being like vocally and conversationally available to her citizens that basically he doesn't have to work as hard anymore. The people on the inside, security for a ball, that's when it gets stressful. Because then you get like she probably like I know she has like a ton more like foreign plots against her throne and like so like outside forces coming in. And then also the occasional aristocrat who's angry that they don't have the world on their platter served to them anymore. And she's like, well, you've had your fun. I don't care. Like the system's not perfect, but she does try hard to like her priorities are more public than they are personal because at some point or fashion we are all public. appearance of Jameson so I can figure out what this armor is. Before I go too much farther into it, because I know the cape is going to be here. The capes are so unnecessary, but at the same time, like, I also think that that's what the palace guard would wear. I don't think like the normal, like, the street constables have capes. I think it's just literally just palace people, but because it is so, it's just to be gaudy. Like, it's one thing to wear a cloak, but like these aren't cloaks; they're just straight up capes. They're just to flutter majestically in the wind. So wearing hoods. I want to see, because that's this is about that's yeah, okay, that's small enough. You can still see them, but yeah, they're gonna be in the background. I have decided I want to draw a creature. It looks like a squirrel. I meant to draw it as a cat, but here we go. The cat working his way up the tree. Maybe he has the zoomies. Ugh, why am I not drawing straight lines? Mhm. All right, we only got a couple of minutes left. I think I'm just gonna do some cleanup until the alarm goes off. Um, we got much cleanup to do. We haven't really finished anything yet, but that's okay. Just do a little bit here and there. Make it easier for me for next time. Yeah. Yeah, I think we're getting there. Just need to make sure that next time I have my reference for the armor kind of all figured out. Make sure I save. All right. Yep. There we go. Perfect timing. I didn't mean to snooze you. I wanted to turn you off. Okay. All right. So let's zoom out for a what second. All right. Yeah. So other than like, well, I got that little railing. I got to finish up to there. We did the whole. I really think this panel is just about done being inked. The top panel. Um, Other than this little railing. Yeah. I don't think I have anything else to fiddle with on it. Um, Obviously still working on this, although we've made a lot of headway already. I've started drawing in There's Quill, there's Roz. They're just going to be in the background, very, very sneakily. Um, yeah, still have some work to do on this one, but it's coming along nice. I like his face. I like what I did with his face. The guard in the foreground. Um, I need to find my reference again for the armor so I can figure out how to get his arm in there. Because he's yawning like I'm doing right now. But yeah, page 17 is coming along nicely. So, all right. Thank you everybody for watching. I will for sure be here Thursday, 9 to noon. That's my goal, is to go back to my normal scheduled Tuesday, Thursday art stuff. But I'm also hoping to maybe add in a couple of like fun streams. Eventually. It may not happen this week, but I'm hoping like starting in April I'll be able to stream at some slightly different times with maybe slightly different content. So like probably Wednesdays and Saturdays. But yeah. Anyway, let me go. I'm gonna kind of we're kind of in the yapping, but yeah, technically the stream is over. We're ending it. Thank you so much everybody for hanging out. Thank you, Jackie Beth. Sorry I had to ban 2 people, but that's what you get for being bots. So I guess I don't talk to robots. Uh, human only. But yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I will see you later. Bye!